Hi guys, hope you're all well. Love the show, or what I've seen of it so far. I feel like the women of punk were so integral in that movement, and in this series, I feel like they're getting the sort of spotlight they deserve. It's not just about the Sex Pistols. How important was it for all of you that this be the case, and their legacies are explored in this detail?
I think for me, it was really interesting to learn just how connected Chrissy was to the Sex Pistols, and getting all of the research and the archival evidence that we had really painted a beautiful picture. And then being able to work with Craig, our writer, he really just gave each character so much life and time. So you get to really see who they are as people, not just, the women on the sidelines or the guys on the stage. You get to learn who they are kind of behind closed doors.
Yeah, I absolutely relish the opportunity of basically having a different Nancy that we haven't seen before. And again, like you said, Craig gave them so much life and soul and just such a well-rounded characters. So they're not necessarily these just like infamous icons that we know from this time in history, but real humanized people.
A lot of it was there in the writing as well, and wasn't done in a heavy-handed way, but Vivian had a couple of great lines where she said, actually it was the Lady of the Lake who gave Arthur Excalibur, and oh, it's fine, you've stolen my idea, you're always appropriating my stuff. So I think it was just it was fun in the writing, and was handled
it's authentic though. It's not too much, it's not overpowering. It's
I mean, they're all such iconic and well-known people. I mean, when you take on roles like this, it's so important, I guess, not to veer into being an impersonation of them and sort of capturing the essence of them. But was that a challenge for you guys? Was it quite a fun one to rise to?
I think what you say is key. It's not an impersonation, and the story. I mean, we all acknowledge that it's a storytelling of what was happening at the time. It's not, we're not doing a documentary. So it was nice. I mean, Sydney and I were lucky enough to meet our real life counterparts and pick up that essence. But it was so much of it was kind of performance based off what was on the page, I think.
I think it's as you said as well, it's that capturing that essence, and that's something that I think Danny helped us all find so wonderfully, is the essence of that character within ourselves as well. So you can do all the research you want, but at the end of the day, it's you, and so you have to kind of find those connections and thread the character together through you and all the research that you have available.
How was it meeting Chrissy and Vivian then for you guys? That must have been amazing.
It was amazing. My mom is her number one fan. So I grew up listening to my mom singing her songs around the house. And then I had to go sing her songs. I'm like, here we go. But she was so kind, and really lovely, really down to earth, no ego. I learned a lot from her just personally, and really admired being able to spend time with a woman like that. She's really an incredible person.
I got to meet Vivian before we started filming, and I went down to the Vivian Westwood headquarters and saw her in her natural habitat, which was really fun. And she was very generous with her conversation and the information she gave me.
I mean, when I saw this show, I mean, there's something so infectious about the punk energy and the punk kind of mindset. And even just after watching the sort of first 2 episodes, I felt kind of invigorated by it. Did this change you at all, being in a show like this, or your perspectives on the world, even if just briefly? Because I guess you had to adopt that kind of careless and sort of carefree sort of persona for some time in these characters.
I feel like it was very liberating. And I think the space that we were given, the space that Danny creates as well, is that you can't really put a foot wrong. Like, anything's up for discussion. You can bring ideas to the table, no matter how mad they might be. So I think in a way, it's made me more confident in my craft, really.
Yeah, it helped me a lot with the idea of not seeking out perfection as well, but just seeking out something authentic or truthful to yourself. I think that runs through our story, but I personally felt that for myself and want to hold on to that as well.
I really admired Vivian's work ethic, because she was in a sort of counterpart to the chaos that was going on. She was there doing the doing and making the outfits and creating. So I've tried to
and the kids
and the children and balancing her relationship with Malcolm. So I've tried to adopt some of that in my everyday life.
I mean, another great thing about punk, obviously, is the great outfits. Were you guys able to keep anything from, or take anything from set?
Sadly, no. No, that was
Strict
forbidden.
rules
We
of no
wish.
taking the costumes.
Yeah, we
Well,
wish.
the leather jacket I wore was actually Vivian's jacket from the time that she lent production. So, yeah.
Yeah, the way you answered that suggests you did inquire about taking something, though.
Yes.
Many times. Maybe there's still hope. We'll see.
I wanted to ask about working with Danny as well. I mean, he seems, I mean, I've heard him be described as a director that brings a kind of punk energy in his filmmaking style. He sounds like the perfect fit to bring this story to life, and he lets things just kind of play out. What was he like to collaborate with on this? I mean, he's a real icon of in his own craft, isn't he?
Yeah, he's incredible. I think as Emma was saying earlier, you know, there's no judgment, which, you know, obviously a director has to be judicious, has to make choices all the time, but he's judicious without being judgmental, I think. So he let us, you know, it was incredibly collaborative. It was more like doing theatre. We had a really long rehearsal process, and he let us come forward with ideas, and he's very kind man. Yeah.
And not to put you on the spot, but if you guys could, because you're playing such iconic characters here, but if you guys could play any other figure from history, who would you most like to play?
Wow.
From history.
From history. Such a long time.
There's so many people in this.
Goodness.
I'm immediately like, Jesus.
Can you please?
Okay, Jesus, I'll take Mary.
Okay, fine.
Done.
It
Who
works.
do you do?
No. The donkey.
Done.
Be a great show. Get ready for it.
I look forward to seeing this nativity one day, but thank you so much for the time today.
Danny
Best
Boyle
luck.
nativity.
Yes, thank you so much. Thanks, Pip.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey,